Hello, it's Jeanette with Amazing Paper Crafts. Thank you for joining me in my craft closet today. Today I have a little card project to share with you today. It is a thank you card that measures 4¼ by 4¼ a square card. And it has a lovely little motif or focal point in the middle that I made using my Lots of Labels die set. This is the Lots of Labels Framelit dies, and you get 7 dies in this set. And the dies that I'm going to be using, starting from the outside, I'm going to be using the 3rd one, and I'm also going to be using the 4th one. And for this little middle piece here, I'm going to be using the 5th one. So I'll pull those out right now. Okay. Now you're also going to need a card base that measures 8½ by 4½, and you will score it at 4½ to make your square card. Now this is the heavyweight card, the Whisper White heavyweight card base or cardstock that I used, because on this one here I didn't use it. I used the regular card stock, the Whisper White cardstock, and it is a little bit I'm not going to say flimsy, but I can tell that you probably would like a heavier weight card base, because this little motif in the middle, or the little centerpiece rather, it's got a little weight to it. So you probably want something a little heavier. So you're also going to need some DSP, and this is from the DSP Stacks collection, the Regals collection. This one I'm going to be using the Rose Red, and I'm also going to be using, oh actually this looks more like Cherry Cobbler. Yep, I'm sorry. Cherry Cobbler, not Rose Red. Anyway, Cherry Cobbler, sorry about that. And also the Cherry Cobbler DSP. Both of these are from the Regals collection. The DSP is, and then this is from the Regals collection, this Cherry Cobbler. Now the one that I used before is actually the Perfect Plum. So I thought I'd change it up a little bit and try it in this color here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to work on the card base. And for that, I am going to be using the stamp set called Endless Thanks, and I will be using the larger flower, the little flower, that little leaf, and also this branch, and of course that thank you that's in there. This is such a cute set. I love this. Anyway, let's get started with the larger flower, and I'm going to just take, let's see, make sure that there's no ink on that. That's good. Didn't really clean it off that well the last time I used it. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to stamp the corners, but before I do that, I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper so that I could stamp off. Okay, we're stamping off, and then we're going to stamp the corners. Okay, oh, that's pretty. Okay, stamping off, oops, and then stamping the corner. Okay, stamp off. Now see, when I stamp, I'm also getting some ink on my finger here, so you got to be real careful when you do that, that you don't get your thumb in here. I was getting ready to re-ink it. Okay, because then you get little spots like that, and hopefully that little centerpiece will cover it. All right, there we go. Now it's not perfect, but you get how to do this. You know, you get a lighter shade when you stamp off. Now we're going to take that little flower and we're going to ink it up, and we're just going to go ahead and go right in the center of each of these flowers. Give it a little centerpiece. Okay. And then I'm going to take the little leaf, the green leaf, and I'm going to be using some of the Garden Green, also from the Regals collection, and we will take that, and I'm going to just stamp a leaf on the corners next to the flower. Okay, I'm going to do 2 leaves, trying to be symmetrical, because that's, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've got to be symmetrical with everything. But if you're like me, you like things balanced. Okay, one more here. Okay, so now you've got your your card for the outside done. And then I'm going to put this aside, and then I'm going to be working on the centerpiece of this card. And for that, you're going to take your solid color and your DSP of the cherry cobbler. Move this aside, and like I said, you're going to be using 3 sizes, but for now you're going to use these 2 sizes, and you're going to be cutting 2 of these, 1, 2, and also 2 of these out of this DSP using your Big Shot. Now I'm going to try to fast forward here because you've seen me use the Big Shot before, so bear with me. So now, if I didn't mention it before, the piece that you're going to need for the solid color DSP, that should measure 3 inches by 8.5 inches, okay? And the DSP should measure 3.5 by 5 inches, okay? And you don't have to use that much, but you want to make sure you have enough for both of these die cuts. Okay, so you're going to need to use a little bit of Tombow Mono multi-purpose glue, and I'm going to put some on the back of this, if it'll come out. Let's see. There it comes. I didn't shake it down. All right. So just want a little bit on the back of this, because what you're going to do is place it crisscross on this one here. Try to get it nice and even. Okay, on all 4 corners. And then we'll just let it dry while we work on these 2 pieces here, because you're going to need to do some cutting on these. Now, it's going to be a little tricky, but what you want to do is pretty much cut off the top part, leaving just about a 1/16 of an inch of the edge over here. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Trimmer, and I'm going to kind of eyeball it. And I want all my blades on the top part here, and I want to eyeball it so that I get just a little bit of that edge right here. Now, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, you see this little edge right here? All I want is just a little tiny edge of this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to do that on all 4 corners of this, just eyeballing it, trying to be as neat as I can. Oh, I always want to start with the blade up on top. Okay, and that is helpful for me anyway. Okay, we'll do this one. Blade on top. Bring it down. Okay. Turn it. Blade on top and bring it down. Now you've got 4 little pieces that look like this. Pardon the ink on my hand. That's what happens when you leave your ink pad open. Anyway. Okay, so now I've got those 4 pieces, and I'm going to put this away. Right now we're going to bring in our silicone craft sheet, and we're going to be putting snail adhesive on the back of these so that we can glue these on to our centerpiece. Let's bring out the snail adhesive. No, that's my fast use. Snail. Okay. Here we go. Boy, it's sticky. That's why I use my craft mat. Well, we'll do one at a time. Let's bring in our centerpiece, and we want to make sure that this is in the center, leaving a little bit of an edge on the top. Okay, can you see that? Leaving just a little bit of an edge right here. Okay, we're going to do that on all 4 of these corners here. I don't know if you can hear that, but we're having a thunderstorm out there, and I'm just hoping that we don't lose power so that I'll have to start the video over again, because I will lose my lights. We lose power. So, all right, we're doing this third one here. Trying to be as neat as I can, getting this on the corners here, and one right here. Okay, last one. Okay, there we go. Now you're going to take one of these, whichever one you want. Let's see, I think I'll use this one here, and I'm going to use my snail adhesive to put it right in the center, the best I can in the center. Okay, that's going to be good enough for me. Okay, now I'm going to work on the sentiment. Okay, I'm going to bring in a piece of Whisper White, which here it is right here. Okay, and then I'm going to be bringing in my piercing mat, because it kind of gives it a little bit of a gush when you work with your photopolymer stamps. And I'm going to be stamping that thank you using the cherry cobbler, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take this branch, and I'm going to put the branch on either side of this. I saw this in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and I just fell in love with this little branch, which kind of gives it like a little, you know, I don't know what the parenthesis brackets. It just kind of closes it up really good. Now you can use your Stamp-A-Majig if you want to make this perfect. But to me, it's, you know, I'm just eyeballing everything today. All right, now I'm going to take the smallest one that I'm going to be using today, and I'm going to be putting this here, and I'm going to take this through the Big Shot. I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. And now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take and, let's see. Pardon me, I'm just going to make sure I've got the right color ink on here. I'm just going to put a little bit of color on the edges. Just a tiny little bit, just to give it a little bit of a frame of color. Okay. All right, now I'm going to pop this up in the middle here using some Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, we'll just use two. One right here and one right here. Oops, they're all coming out. All right. And I'm going to put that thank you right about here. Okay. And then we're going to put some flowers on the corners, and I'm going to use some more of the Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to also be using the little flower punch from that 3-set flower punch called the Itty Bitty Punch Pack. Okay, and I'm going to punch out 4 flowers. Okay. And then I'm going to do some sponging around the edges of these flowers, just a little bit, to give it a little bit of color, because we like color. Okay. Okay. Right, now I'm going to bring in my little foam block here, and I'm going to be using the back of my paper piercing tool to just pick this up and put all 4 of these on here. Okay, I like this little block because it's soft, and I can really pick these little flowers up nicely. Okay, now what I've done is I have colored some of these basic rhinestones with the alcohol marker. So I am going to go ahead and place these. I colored them with like a pinkish red, It's not perfect, but it sure does look pretty, and it makes the colors, the little flowers really pop with the bling. So let me bring these in here. Okay. And then turn these over, and we're going to use some mini glue dots to adhere these to the corners of this centerpiece. Okay, one right here. One right here. Oops. I got the glue dot, but not the flower. There we go. One right here. And one right here. So every corner has a flower. Okay, now I'm ready to lift this up and put it on the card base. Here's our card base. Okay, good. That'll hide my smudges. Great. All right, we're going to lift it up with Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's bring out some more Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put one on every corner. I know you're wondering, why are my Stampin' Dimensionals in these little squares? It's because I share them with the people I work with when I do a workshop. Okay, so a couple in the middle. We're taking off the backing. Oh, this one didn't go. Okay, now if you notice on this card here, I had it opening this way, but I think what I want to do on this card is I would like it to open this way. So I'm going to be putting this centerpiece right here in the center. Okay, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take my corner rounder. Probably use your Project Life corner rounder, just around the two bottom edges here. Okay, and then for the final touch, after I close my ink pad so I don't get my hand in it anymore, I'm going to take those 4 more of these little basic rhinestones, and I am going to just put a little rhinestone in front of on top of every one of these little flowers in the corners, just to give it just a little bit more bling. Now, if you don't want to use rhinestones and you have one of those sparkly pens, they also work really nice with this card. Okay, my card is done. Now, if you can do some stamping on the inside with some of the stamps from this Endless Thanks set. This beautiful set. I mean, you know, you've got so many different sentiments here, and plus some smaller words here. Boy, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one. Anyway, this is my card. I hope that you'll try this. Once again, I'm Jeanette with She Amazing Paper Crafts, and you make it a great day. Bye-bye.